Hello world, welcome to Cybercreed. Today in this video, we are going to solve one very interesting machine learning problem known as Cora question pair prediction. And this can basically be your final year project, or you can basically use it for learning the machine learning or deep learning concept. If you are interested in this video, please make sure to watch this video till the very end. And before moving ahead, I am just going to give you a quick overview of what this video is actually going to be about. So most of you may already know about Quora, and for those who don't know, Quora is basically a wonderful website for asking questions and getting help. So in Quora, you have multiple of people asking the same question again and again. So if we can somehow just identify like which of the questions are same, like some question may be like what is linked list, and second question may also be like define linked list. Both of the question have the same meaning, but the both of the questions are different, people have to answer them differently. So what we need to do, we need to just check given two questions if they are same or not. If they convey the same meaning, then we can just copy and paste the answer from the one question to the another. So this is basically our business requirement for this problem. So if you are interested in this, please make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so that you never miss any future updates. So with that said, let's just get right into the video. So let me just do it. So here you can see that we are on Kaggle website. So Kaggle is basically a wonderful website for getting the data set. And this was basically a contest held by basically Quora. And this is the data set that we are also going to use. So if you just click on the data, you can basically see that it is the data that we are basically going to use. So first of all, I basically ran this code on the Kaggle notebook, and I have downloaded this IPython notebook. So you can see that some line of the codes are here that are just going to get the data set and basically extract it. So from till here, we are just getting the data set. If you are able to just download it, you can basically do it on your own computer, but I just prefer to do it on Kaggle because it gives us free cloud computing and it also have better resources. So I basically use that instead of just going and downloading each software again and again. So here I basically have installed some of the dependency that we are basically going to need, like distance and other things that we are going to need in future. And then I have imported some of the most commonly used library that we are going to use. So you can just copy and paste this, but we are also going to see when and where it is going to be used. And this is basically end-to-end project implementation, which means getting the data set till we are creating the model. And we are going to see multiple of techniques like feature engineering and feature extraction, which is one of the most important thing inside machine learning that you are going to learn in this video. So first of all, we are just simply reading our train.csv, which is going to look something like this. So we have just imported the train.csv as a data frame inside a variable known as df. So df is currently holding all the data points for us. And if we do df.head, you can see that we are simply seeing all the data inside it. So let's just quickly go through what is this data all about. So this ID is just the simple ID, and here Q1 ID, which means it is the ID of the question one, and QID2 is basically the question ID of the second question. And here is the question one, like this is one question, and again this is another question. And is duplicate is basically our target variable that is going to be our target. Here 0 means they both are not duplicate, and 1 means yes, they are duplicate. So if we just do df.info to see about our data set, we can see that there are total this many number of data points in our data set, and it is basically of type integer, and then this question 1 and question 2 are of type object because they are string. And once it is done, now we need to check if our data set is balanced or not, because if it is not balanced, we are basically going to do something for that, like oversampling, undersampling. So here when we see that we don't need that, because we can simply see like total number of non-duplicates are somewhere around 25,000, and duplicate questions are like 15,000. So this is quite good. It is not neither imbalanced nor like perfectly balanced, but we can go ahead with this. So here we are just going to check, like here I just basically check like how many number of unique questions were there. So you can just see that there are this many unique questions in our data set. And then we are just simply checking what is the percentage of our duplicate values as well as the percentage of non-duplicate questions. So here we can see that question pair that are not similar, which means non-duplicates, which means 0, is 63%. Means 63% of the questions are basically not the duplicate of each other. And then question pair which are similar is 36%. Means just 36%, just 36% of the questions are duplicate. And here we are just doing some thing like get information gathering from our data set, and that is what you basically need to do. You basically need to understand what is data set all about. So here we are just creating a data frame that is containing both the question 1 and question 2, and then we are basically checking the uniqueness. So number of the unique questions are here, and max number of count a single question have basically occurred. So there is possibility that same question, just the same question have also occurred multiple times, so we are also checking that. So here you can see that max number of time a single question have basically occurred. So one single question have maximum occurred for 157 times. So here we are just going to check some of like the questions that are basically inside our data set, just to check which questions are basically frequently asked and most of the people want to know the answer. So here, what is the best ways to lose the weight is most asked question in our data set. And here we can also see how is the borderline personality disorder be treated, how I can lose weight quickly. And from this you can see that how many people are concerned about losing their weight on this Quora website. And then we are also doing some exploratory data analysis of like plotting unique question as well as repeated questions. So the unique questions is pretty high, and repeated question is pretty low, so it is good enough because we just don't need to have like repeated question multiple of times and unique question also same. This is going to create a mass confusion. That is why we are checking this also. So now we are simply checking if the duplicate is left, and here we are basically plotting the frequency of single question occurring. So here, if you can see in this chart, this is the question that is occurring max number of time, and then here are all the questions that are basically in decreasing order of their number of count. Then we are basically checking for the null value. So here is the missing value treatment of any data analysis part, which is very important. So here you can see that we are working with string data. So string data, the best way to do it is if the number of missing point is very less as compared to our entire data set, then we basically need to drop this data set. So that is what we are doing. So here we are just checking like df dot is null. We are checking if any value is null here, then dot any one. So dot any one, which is basically going to say that if just even the one value, just even the one set is empty or a null, just display me that. So here in our entire data set we can see that there are just three such data points that are basically null. So this is very simple to treat. We can just simply neglect them, as we have total of 40,000 data points, so just three of them won't make any difference to us. So here I also wrote that as there are very few null points, we are just simply going to remove it. And then here comes the most interesting part of our entire project, and this is also one of the most important part of data science life cycle, which most of the people neglect. Like from this stage they are just going to transfer this word to vector, or just going to transfer this words into some form of numerical data, and then they are just going to apply some model, which is not the perfect way to do this, because that is the very simple way. But here is the most important way that you should do, and the technique that we are going to use here can also be applied in multiple of fields. So you can just pay close attention. So here we are doing feature extraction. So here we are finding total number of common words, and then here we are just like counting total number of distinct word both in question 1 and question 2. And then we are also checking words here, like there are two sentences, what is linked list and defined linked list. And then we are going to check what is the words here, like in this question define linked list, the linked list, and what is linked list. Linked list and linked list are the two words that are basically same. That is what this words here function is going to return to us. And then here what we are doing, we are just plotting all the features that we have extracted from our data set. So here like we have q1 length, q2 length, what is the length of q1, what is the length of q2, how many words are there in q1, how many words are there in q2, and common word, word total, and shared word. So we are just taking everything into the consideration. We are just creating more features from our data set. This is basically known as feature engineering, where you engineer features from the data set that is given to you just to increase its accuracy bit further. So once we have extracted the features, what we are going to do, here we are just doing some sort of exploratory data analysis just to check how the features is going to help us in modifying or basically getting our output. So here we can see that we are analyzing our shared word features that we just extracted, and here you can see zero, which basically means green, which means it is not duplicate. So not duplicate and duplicate can basically be separated using a straight line here. Let me just draw. So if we just draw a simple straight line here, we can see that it can be separated. So this feature is providing some help in identifying which question is duplicate and which question is not. So this feature is very useful. We can consider this feature. And then moving up to this feature, which is our common word, you can see that in common word it is sharing some feature, because if we draw a line here, let me just change the color. So if let me just so if we just separate it from here, we can simply say that it is also helping us to separate our point. So we are also going to save this feature. And then coming up to this part, the word total, it is not helping us to identify which question is duplicate or not. And this does not seem that much useful. And well, this is basically a box plot, which in which this white point that you are going to see is basically 50%, and the above bound that you are going to see is 75%. So this is basically 75, and the down is 25, and the last part of both of them are 100%, 100%. So this is just going to say, is the distribution of 0 and 1, like is duplicate and non-duplicate is similar or not. So this word total is not that useful, but then again we are going to move ahead with text pre-processing. So this is also one of the most important feature, which is basically useful when you are working with text data. So this text pre-processing part, you can basically apply it to any text machine learning problem that you are currently working with. So the very first thing in any text-based machine learning project that you have to do is remove all the stop words. So stop words are the basically words that comes most often, and they does not have that much of meaning in it, like the this, he, or this, that, or things like that. Of course, like that's so here we are just creating a set of it. So set is basically a type of data structure that does not store any duplicate, which also have constant access time property. So this is going to be very much useful. And then I have simply written a remove stop word function, which is going to take the word as an input, and then it is basically going to make it token. Token basically means it is going to create the list of the word, and then here it is basically going to remove all the stop words. And once the stop words are removed, it is again going to make it a complete sentence, and then here we are returning the removed stopped word sentences back. Then here we are basically writing our main function, which is pre-process, which is basically going to do all the pre-processing, and it is also going to help us to like convert this 7 zeros into million, 3 zeros into k, and things like that. And it is also going to replace like apostrophe, commas, won't to will not, should to should not, can't to cannot, because this is very important to do, because can't cannot be understood basically by our model, and that is why we are doing this. And once it is done, we are basically calling our remove stopped word, and we are just returning fully cleaned pre-processed text. So here you can see that we are creating a new column, which is clean one and clean two, which is going to have the cleaned part of this question one, and question 2. So we are just applying our preprocess function that we basically wrote here, which is basically going to remove stop words and do stemming. And one more thing about stemming. What is stemming? So stemming is basically converting any word into its base word. So let's say hacking. If we write hacking, the base word of the hacking is basically hack. A base word of, and you wrote hacker, the base word is also hack. So instead of having multiple words, we are just combining them or just compressing all the words into its base form. That is why we are basically doing stemming, and this is very very important to just shorten the text length and have some information that is basically important. So here we are basically performing the stemming part here in the remove stop word snow.stem. So snow stemmer is basically a type of stemming algorithm that is pre-built in our Python, and that's why we are basically using it. And once it is cleaned, here now we are basically going to do advanced feature engineering. So in advanced feature engineering, we are going to explore this many features that you can see. So the first one is simple ratio. So what is simple ratio? So here you can see measurement of edit distance. So which basically means like given one text, what is minimum number of edit operation that you need to do to convert it into a different word or the from let's understand in this way. You are given a question word. How many edits you need to do in this question one to convert it into question two? So that is basically asked here. And then partial ratio, so how much accurately part of the sentence matches to other. So here you can see that Chennai Super Kings as well as Super Kings, so both of the sentences trying to say the same meaning, but we as a human understanding Super Kings will understand it is talking about Chennai Super Kings, but other people won't be able to understand, and that is why we are using this partial ratio. And token sort ratio, so tokenizing the string question, sorting. So first of all, we are basically going to take the string, sort it, and then we are going to do this with both question one and question two, and then join them back. And then we are going to see how many words have basically matched and if they are equal or not. And then there is token sort ratio. So token set ratio, sorry, so token set ratio, both the string are basically split into the tokens into the group of then we are basically going to find the intersection, like which of them which of the words are basically common in both of them, and then we are basically going to do it for comparison. Then we are also checking the last word. So let's say the question was what is linked list and define linked list. Both of the last word are similar. So this is also one feature that can come in handy, and that is why we are also using that feature. And feature engineering is one of the part that you have to just Google it or you have to do whatever. But if you have done a perfect job in feature engineering, your model is going to do a great job there. So just like the first last word, we are also doing that with the first word. Then there is length difference. So length difference is basically saying the length of question one is 5 and the length of question two is 7. So what is the total difference in their length? Just 2. Yes, and that is the length difference. And then stop word ratio. So remember the stop word that we removed, like the his or, we are going to check the ratio, like total number of stopwords in question one and total number of stopwords in question two. What is the ratio of both of them? That is why we are going to use stopword ratio. Then token ratio. So token ratio is basically number of tokens in both question one and question two. And then there is the longest common substring. So it is very very important problem. If you have studied dynamic programming question, you must have studied about it. So it is basically the ratio of the longest substring that are basically matched in both the question one and question two. And as you can see that these are some of the features that are going to be very very important in solving the problem like this, like finding if the question one is similar to question two or not. And that is why we are basically going to use this. And luckily for us, there is a library in Python which is known as fuzzy wuzzy, which automatically provide this feature for us. So here we have to just call those function and just do dot apply to apply those functions in here. So fuzzy dot ratio, fuzzy dot partial ratio, fuzzy dot token sort ratio, fuzzy dot token set ratio, and we are just performing all of them. But some of the features that we have talked about are not there. So here we are writing the function for that. So for common sort ratio, for common token ratio, for getting the longest substring. So in Python there is a library distance which we already have installed at the very top. We are using it to just find the longest substring there. And then here we are also doing the common characters, like total number of characters that are common in both of the string. And then we are just saving all the features that we are going to extract in this three, like stop word ratio, token ratio, and longest substring ratio. Then we are saving it. Then we are again checking our data set. So here is now our new data set that is going to look something like this. And then we are just removing uncleaned questions. So here we are just deleting the questions that were not here we are just deleting the questions that we have basically got from the data set, because we have now converted our questions into cleaned, like without stop words, and after performing stemming, and that is why we don't need the questions as it is the raw questions. We have basically cleaned it, so we are going to keep the cleaned part of it, and we are just going to remove the raw part of the data that we got. And then we are basically going to save it here. And now once we have extracted the features, we also need to check if the features that we extracted are useful or not. So here we are basically going to check how much this extracted features are useful for us. So here you can see that we have basically written the function for that. And then we are basically going to do some word cloud. So word cloud is very important feature for visualizing the text data. Here what we are going to do, we are checking this for our duplicate questions, which are duplicates, which words have the most frequency. So in word cloud what happens, the word that comes multiple of times or which have basically higher frequency is going to bright up light and have bigger font, whereas the frequency of the words which have basically low frequency is going to be in small font size. And then we are basically doing the same with the duplicate question as well as non-duplicate question. And then here is the main plot. Here we are just plotting all the features that we have engineered from the given text data. So here you can see that most of the features that we have done have some impact in determining if it is going to work or not. So all of the features that we have discussed are important. So we are now going to plot them individually just to get more insight of it, because in machine learning, more and more exploratory data analysis that you are going to do, more and more information you are going to get about your data as well as the data set. So we are basically trying to see in all of the features, you can see that it most of the features that we extracted are helping us in way or other, because they both are helping us to separate, which means we have done a pretty good job in identifying the data set and basically clean. So here you can also see even the token set ratio is having some meaning in it. Then we move to this length difference. So we can see that this length difference, if the length difference is high, it is going to not going to be basically same. So here if you can see, just till here if is the green line, but above all is red line. Red line basically means one, which means they are same, which basically means they are duplicate. So if it is above, we can simply say if it lies in this range, it is our duplicate questions, of course. So this is also an important feature that we extracted. And then here we are doing some sort of Tishni. So Tishni is basically one of the most important technique which is used to visualize multi-dimensional data into two-dimensional or even three-dimensional if we want to do so. So here you can see that with the help of Tishni, we can simply say draw a line here, draw some line here, draw some, and this is the cluster where we can say that all the things that come to this cluster are duplicates. So it is helping us to identify, or it is basically helping us to simply say that they simply say that both of the questions are basically duplicates or not duplicates. So we have done a great job in doing our feature extraction. So now we can simply say that yes, this model that we are going to create is going to have pretty good accuracy. So here you can also plot 3D Testney, but I don't know why it is not showing, because I think I downloaded it from Kaggle. Okay, no problem. So here we are featureizing our text data. We are just saving it, and then here what we are trying to do here, we are just now going to convert all the sentences that we have, all the text data we have. So here what we are going to do, here we are just going to convert all the text data that we have into its vector form, because machine don't understand text data. We need to give them numerical data, because machine learning or deep learning is nothing but just pure math. So in math we use just numbers. So we are going to use one very popular model that is known as globe model, which is basically a word to vector model which is trained on the Wikipedia data. So it basically have the semantic meaning of the words. So what it means to have semantic meaning? So semantic meaning, it means that it is going to understand the relationship among the data. So if here is king, let's say he is king and this is basically queen. So it is basically going to understand the relationship between king and queen. So it is going to plot this in like here king, queen, and if it is like let's say boy and this is basically girl. So the distance between boy and girl and the king and queen is basically going to be same. But for the other words which are not similar, like let's say king and then here let's say cat. So if it is cat, it is going to be very far away from it, and their difference is going to increase rapidly. So this is what is meant by the semantical meaning, which means it understands the semantics of the word and then store it accordingly. That is why we are going to use this word to vec model, which is a deep learning pre-trained model. So here we can basically say that we are going to use the concept of transfer learning, where we are going to use a pre-trained model that is trained on very large data set, and here in this case it is basically trained on the large data set of Wikipedia. So we are going to use it. Here we have basically written the function for question 1 just to convert all the question 1 into its vector form, and then we are doing the same with our question 2. First of all, we are taking the cleaned version of it, then we are just creating the vector out of it. And once it is done, we are saving it in CSV file once again. Why we need to just save it again and again? Because all the process that we are going to do is going to take lots and lots of time, and we just don't want to renew the time when we are, let's say, out. We can just simply save the data set till here, and then we can basically continue to work when this is done, or when we basically need it. And once it is done, now we are just going to go to our final step, that is just combining all the features that we have into a one single data frame that we are basically going to pass to our model as X train, Y train, and things like that. So here now once all the things are loaded and finally done, which is inside our final features.csv, we are ready with our machine learning models. So here we are importing all the important necessary stuff that we need for this, and here we are again loading our dataset, that is final features.csv. We are taking a good look at it. So here are all the features that are extracted, and then here we are again splitting our data set into 70% train and 30% test. And before doing that, we are performing this very important thing, that is standardizing our data. So we are converting using a standard scaler for that, which means here we are just making the mean as 1 and mean as 0 and variance as 1. So it is going to lie between them. So this step is very important just to bring the scale of our data equally, like all the features must be in same scale so that our machine learning can learn more easily. And then here we are basically going to use this plot confusion matrix function to just plot our confusion matrix. And now we are going to just so now here we are going to create a random model which is basically going to work as a benchmark to check if the model that we have made is any good or not, like if it is totally useless to make it, or it is just going to be used as a benchmark. So here we have made a random model, and the work of random model is to just keep on guessing randomly, like 0 and 1, 0 and 1, which have the probability of 50%. So you can see that the model accuracy is 0.088, which is log loss. So here that I would like to mention the fact that here we are using the accuracy matrix of log loss, and in log loss, if you are if the accuracy is close to how close, so in log loss, if you go closer to 0, it is going to have best performance. Like if it is 0, it have best performance. If it is 1, it have the worst performance. So it is like that. So 0.88 is more closer to 1. That is why the performance of this model is very bad. So now we are basically going to try some of the machine learning models. So first of all, we are going to use the logistic regression, which is one of the best algorithm for this classification problem. So we are going to use logistic regression. Then we also have applied key fold cross validation. So key fold cross validation is going to validate and keep a check that we are not overfitting the data as well as we are not underfitting the data. And here we are also doing hyperparameter tuning. So hyperparameter tuning is basically the task where we try to find the best hyperparameters for our machine learning models to give the best accuracy. So here we are taking the alpha from range -1 to 2 for our hyperparameter, and then we are using our classifier model, and then once it is done we are simply plotting also. So for alpha value of this the accuracy was 0.5, for alpha value of this the accuracy was this. So for every hyperparameter we are checking how accuracy is basically increasing or decreasing. So we can see that the best the train loss is 0.50, so which is of course better than 0.88, and the test loss is 0.50. So we are not overfitting or underfitting the data, because on train it is 0.50, on test also it is 0.50. And this is basically the confusion matrix. This is basically precision and recall. You can look at it. And then we are trying to use linear SVM. So what is linear SVM? Linear SVM is basically a support vector machine, which is also very good in classifying the regression problem. So again we are doing both hyperparameter tuning. So here we took all the values of alpha, we are just performing it in like batches, and we are checking which alpha is basically the best. And once you can see here the alpha of 0.001 was the best, and it just produced 0.50. So both logistic regression and SVM are performing equally in this case. So we are going to move forward to XGBoost. Then coming up to our XGBoost model, so here are some of the hyperparameters that we are basically going to use for them. And when we are basically going to use this XGBoost model, so we can see that the log loss is basically 0.45, which is one of the best log loss in all the machine learning model that we basically have used. And let's see the confusion matrix. So here is the confusion matrix for the XGBoost model. So finally, we have concluded this video by seeing that this XGBoost model is going to be one of the best model that we can basically use for this problem. But the accuracy of this model can also increase bit further if you can just work a bit. You can also apply LSTM or deep learning techniques to improve the accuracy. But this was just for machine learning. This was not for deep learning. And if you are interested or you just got something from this project, you can basically subscribe to our channel, and the code for this will be available in the description section below. So you can just go ahead, download the code and work with it, try to improve this code, and that is it. So yes, thanks for watching this video, and please do subscribe to our channel to just watch this type of video. So thanks for watching.